Hey girls, I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. This is lesson 6 for Tuesday, May 26th. And as you can see, I have my trusted protractor there that we will be using more today. So my I can statement is I can use a protractor to distinguish angle measure from length measurement. Now, when they talk about angle measure, they're talking about how many degrees the angle is. When they talk about length measurement, they're talking about the arc that the angle makes. We have two types of protractors here. We have our circular protractor that you saw in your last lesson. And then we have our half protractor, which you have seen in school. The circular protractor measures all the way around past 180, full circle to 360. Half of 360 is 180, and our typical protractor will show 180 degrees. Now, what you're going to notice is that I have a 0 here, and a 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, all the way around to 180. But then I have a 0 here, and it goes backwards. So it really depends on which way your angle's facing, whether you're going to start at this 0 or start at this 0. So let's measure a few angles. So here I have a protractor. And this is typically what we would use in school. And I know some of you have a protractor, which I'm very happy about. If you can get a protractor, get a protractor, or there is the one that you can cut out. And you'll notice what I did is I cut out the whole protractor first, and then I cut it in half, or I'm not cut it in half, I folded it in half, and then cut out that middle part so that it's nice and clear. Okay? So what's very important when you're measuring angles is that the ray or the protractor is lined up so that it is pointing at the 0. That's very important. If it's not pointing at the 0, your measurement will not be accurate. So let's do our first angle. Now, what you can do is if you want, because it's not pointing exactly, so if you want, you can extend the line. Ooh, look at that. So now I'm going to start counting by tens. I'm starting at 0, and I'm going to count 10, 20, 30, 40. Oh, I'm not right. I'm not at 50 though. So I have to be very careful. Right? 40, right in the middle is 45, or I can even count the individual ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this angle is 49 degrees. And typically I would put my little degree symbol there. So this one is 49 degrees. And think about what type of an angle is it? It's less than 90, and it is 49 degrees. So that makes it an acute angle. Let's try another one. This time, I'm going to go this way. Again, making sure that my arrow is pointing at that 0. So I would line up my protractor. The circular area, this middle part, has to be on my vertex, and the ray has to be pointing at 0. And I'm going to head so here's another angle. But again, remember, this time I'm starting over at this 0. So I'm going to use the numbers on top. Or I can even just look where it's pointing, 80, 100. Well, think about it. What type of angle is this? It's an acute angle. So it can't be 100 because acute angles are less than 90. So the answer would be 80 degrees. Or again, I can start at 0 and count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 degrees for this acute angle. Let's try another one. Making sure it's lined up, pointing at the 0. All right, now look, ask yourself, what type of an angle is it? This is an obtuse angle. And obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees. They are wider than a right angle. So you can see it's pointing directly at the 130. Or if you want to double check yourself, again, make sure you're starting at the 0 and you can count and follow all the way around. And this angle is 130 degrees. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to move to the whiteboard. Oh, I think I'll do another one going this way. And let's see. All right, so ask yourself, what kind of angle is it? It's an obtuse angle, which means that the measurement is going to be greater than 90 degrees. Now, as I go around, I'm going past the 90 to 100, and then it's a little beyond the 100, but I can't see exactly, so I'm going to extend my arrow. Extend it straight up. Yeah, that looks about right. So it's 100, 101, 102 degrees. So right now, we're going to head over to our whiteboard. So now I want to talk a little bit about the angle measure versus the length measurement that they were talking about, or that is in our ICANN statement, and they talk about in the online lesson. So I have two angles here. They're both acute angles, and I'm going to measure them, which means I have to use my handy dandy protractor. And this is the paper one that is in your packet. Very important to line up the vertex right in the center where that line is. It's telling me where to line it up. Also making sure that the ray is pointing at 0. Because if I do this, okay, I'm not starting at 0. It's going to give me a false reading. So I'm going to set this up. And I can see 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. This is a 40-degree angle. And that is a little simple 4 degrees, 40-degree angle. Now I'm going to go over to my other angle. Again, I'm going to make sure I line it up. Okay, again, even if I have it not lined up, it's going to, so I know it's at the 0. I'm right in the middle. And this is also a 40-degree angle. So they're both 40 degrees, but the angles look different. What's different is the length of the arc. So it's kind of like in this angle, I would have a big circle. This angle is part of a smaller circle. But yet, every circle is 360 degrees. Doesn't matter if it's larger, doesn't matter if it's smaller, it's 360 degrees. If I was able to, I could move this over here and it would perfectly overlap with the angle here. Because all I have to do is make my arc a little bit closer. And now it looks more like that one. So it doesn't matter how big the circle is or how long the arc is. What matters is this little part right there to show me how much of a circle I have. So both angles, 40 degrees. I will see you tomorrow. Make sure when you work on your problem set, by mistake, the answer keys are in there as well. But I trust you that you're going to do it first and then check your work. So take a picture, send it to me, and I will see you tomorrow.